Good morning and welcome to our class. Today we're going to be working on shoulders. So shoulders and different things that we can do in our yoga practice to strengthen the shoulders and to open up the shoulders too. So I hope you have fun. It's going to be a really great practice. Before we start, I just wanted to share with you something that I heard the other day in a talk, and I thought it was so beautiful, and it kind of relates to the classes that we've been doing on these Mondays, where we really start learning the foundations for breathing um, and in connecting with that calmness of the breath. And so if you haven't watched those, I can link them below, or if you go under the live sessions on my YouTube page, you can see all of the live classes, the recordings of the live classes that we've done on the breath. So in this lecture, it was saying that our mind is so deeply connected to our breathing. So there's been so much research on this, but also just by experience and meditation and practicing yoga and pranayama. The purpose of yoga is to prepare your mind for meditation. And so, and it has so many side effects like physical well-being and mental and clarity and all of that. But in the end, it's meant for meditation. And beyond that, it's also meant for the mind to be so calm that then you can see the true nature of what you are. And so if our minds are so deeply connected to our breathing, if you have a calm mind, you have a calm breath. If you have calm breath, you have a calm mind. And what it was found is that also works with the body. So you can have calmness in the body that, nurtures this calmness in your breath and calmness in your mind. And so a yoga practice, the physical asana practice, plays an important role on calming the body, preparing the body so that you can have that evenness in your breath, that calming in your breath, and that, then you get into pranayama and those practices. And hopefully through that practice, dedicated practice, you also get calmness of the mind. And so this is, I just thought that was very beautifully explained. I can link that talk below. I'll look for it and I can put it there for you if you're interested. But just very beautiful how this practice, it's designed so intelligently to get you these things. Okay, so let's work on the shoulders today. We are going to start off doing some opening exercises on the floor and then progress from there. So I'll show you different things you can do to build strength and flexibility in your shoulders, and hopefully alleviate a lot of pain from either working in a desk or just the accumulation of tension in the shoulder area and in the arm. All right, here we go. Let's start out by finding a mat, and I'm going to fix my lamp so I don't have these sun rays here. 1 second. Yay. All right, so hopefully you have nice weather where you are. Here it is winter, but we have a beautiful sunny day. All right, so find a place in your mat to lay down. And if you have a dowel handy or, a broomstick works perfectly, go ahead and find that. And come back down. Before I lay down, I'll show you. We've been working on this idea of lifting the chest and then allowing the skin of the back to almost waterfall down. So lifting the chest without bringing the floating ribs forward. So it's just this feeling of this lift. If I were to put my fingers in my clavicles, I would lift the front of the chest without holding my breath or tension in the eyes, ears, or throat. So we can practice this for a second together. Take a comfortable seat. And take a few breaths. Then place your fingers on your collarbones and then gently inhale without adding any tension to your eyes, ears, or throat. And lift the skin so that it comes up over the collarbones and then down, just like a conveyor belt feels coming up and then coming down underneath around the collarbones and back down. So it's this feeling of that conveyor belt coming up and down into this area. It's just an imagination exercise. And then the skin of the back here, as you bring in or you bring your arms up here, you're not bringing the skin back. You're just allowing that skin to relax down towards the sacrum. All right. So come down and lay down here on your mat. And then use the friction of the mat to roll the skin of the back so that it's coming down towards the sacrum and the skin of the front here comes up. Then you can leave your knees bent, or you can straighten out your legs. If you leave your knees bent, press into the floor so that you tuck your pelvis so you don't have an arch here in your lower back. So tuck the pelvis. Inhale, exhale, bring the arms back. So bring them up. And then inhale, exhale, bring the arms down as far as they will go. And once you're as far as you will go, here, lift the chest as you breathe without tensing the eyes, ears, and the throat, and make sure that the skin of the back goes down to the back near, close to the sacrum. Inhale, exhale, come back up. So it's a good idea to use a support if your arms don't go all the way down to the floor. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you can place a bolster. And then grab your dowel. Inhale, exhale, bring the arms down. And you can rest them in the support and then, reduce the height of your support as you're able to go down further. And when you reach the ground or the support, inhale, soften the eyes, ears, and throat, lift the chest, and lower the back. So repeat this 5 or 6 more times with the dowel. And then we're going to go ahead and do something different. We'll come back here and show you. We want external rotation of the arms, right? So with my hand, if I rotate the arm like this is internal. This is external rotation, right? So here, external rotation. So if my hand is back like this, I want external rotation. So remember what that feels like, is once we come down, it's hard. Sometimes it's easy to get disoriented and turn this the wrong way. So always remember how the way you want to adjust is bring that rotation so that it's externally rotating, right? So external rotation, internal rotation. Okay, and so come back down into your mat. And we're going to externally rotate the arms. So with your left hand, you're going to do that to the right hand. Put the right hand on the mat and externally rotate your arm as you straighten the arm back down. Make sure that the skin of the back here is not bunching up towards your neck and that you have that slight lift of your shoulder, of your chest. And then keeping that external rotation, go ahead and straighten the arm back as far as it will go. Make sure that you're not holding any tension here in the stomach, eyes, ears, or throat. And see to it that the pinky is keeping contact with the ground. Here it's easy for that pinky to want to lift, so keep it down. If that's very difficult, grab a block, place that block here so that your hands can go on the block. Externally rotate as you go back with the block. And straighten the arm as much as you can. I'll do a different angle here. I'll do it this way so that you can see the action of the hand. So I'll use a block. Let's see. Place your block here. We're going to do this with the right hand, and I am externally rotating, so I don't want to cause this movement. I want to create this opening of the chest. So place your hand on the block, turn externally, and keep giving yourself that support until you can fully stretch the hand. Just make sure that this shoulder doesn't come all the way to the ears. It stays down. And straighten the arm. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Place the hand on the block and then make sure that the pinky doesn't escape or lift. So keep that pinky down. And use your right hand to help your left shoulder and slowly straighten that arm. Breathing out as you do this, so breathe in, hold, and as you exhale through the nose, then go ahead and straighten the arm. So do this a few more times. You really are slowly improving the range of movement, and if it's impossible to straighten the arm all the way, just breathe wherever it gets kind of tight and tough. Just be there for a minute and breathe into the pose and slowly release any tension in the eyes, ears, throat, in the belly, and slowly get to the place where you can straighten the arm. Okay, now come to a sitting position, and we can come near the wall, and we'll do the same thing from a sitting position. And we'll do it in the wall. So you can place a block here behind the hands, making sure that that pinky doesn't escape. Again, outer rotation of the shoulder. And with the help of your left hand, inhale as you exhale, straighten the right hand. And if you're here, this is perfectly fine. Just breathe into the shoulder, releasing any tension. So inhale, release any tension in the eyes, the ears, and the throat. Go in a little more, maybe a half an inch more. As you exhale, go ahead and move another half inch. Okay. And we'll do the same thing on the left hand. So with your right hand, you can adjust so that you're giving yourself a little help here, an external rotation of the shoulder. Place that hand on the wall, or you can place a block here, like we were doing. This. Okay, and then externally rotate the shoulder, and as you inhale, exhale, Straighten the arm a bit. Release any tension in your eyes, your ears, your throat, your belly. Allow the chest to lift, the skin of the back to come down, and keep that pinky in contact with the wall. And bring the arm down. And sit and take a few breaths and take in that work that you're doing on the shoulder. All right. The next work that we're going to do is a little bit more intense, so do it carefully. I'm going to use a chair. If you don't have a chair, you can use a table, you can use your counter, really any nice flat surface. And what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the arms behind us on the chair like this. And stretch the arms. If this is too much, go ahead and sit on the chair and you can bring the arm behind you. You can bring both arms behind if you can. If you have your coffee table or even the bed, any flat surface that you have, go ahead and bring your arms behind you. You can sit forward also, so you can bring a little height, and as you're able to, reduce that height. Down. Again, lifting the chest, allowing the skin in the back to drop. And coming down here. So here, if you're curling the back, make sure to straighten the back so that becomes the work that you're doing to keep from curling the back, or rounding the back, I should say. All right. And then come out. Okay, so let me know how that was, if you were able to do that. And after we're done doing this, I will show you a different way to do this on the chair. So if you don't have a chair, maybe you have a table and you tie a belt around the bottom so that you can hold on to, so you can engineer this to however kind of props that you have available. But you have the chair. So we're going to come into the chair here, okay, and so that it supports your head, so your head is not dangling. Okay, and you bring the hands back. If the hands are here, then the hands are here. So here we have tight glutes, feet on the floor, and you bring the hands back on the chair. And as you're able to, you can bring the hands down further and further and further. When the hands come here, you grab, and I'll show you this in a different angle too, here. And then you bring the pelvis down. Opening the chest and stretching the shoulders. To come out, you bring the hips up let go and bring the arms up, and then come up. Okay, so I'm going to turn the chair around so that you can see a different angle of this. Okay, some chairs don't have this bottom bar, and what I do is just you can add a belt here and really tighten that belt, and then you can use that to hold on to also. Okay, so get into your chair if you have a chair like this. If not, you can tie a belt or some way to hold on to whatever prop you're using. So come into the chair, and first you can bring the arms up on the backrest of the chair. Okay. Then you come bring the arms here, straighten the arms behind you. You can bend and hold on to the support on the chair. Take a few breaths here and start releasing any tension around the head of the shoulder. And as you're ready, you can walk forward and drop the hips, giving the back a nice stretch and the shoulders a nice stretch. When you're finished, go ahead and release the hands and then lower to the ground and come up. Okay. So give that a try. That's a really nice one. So now we're going to do a few more strengthening and stretching exercises, and we'll finish with a very relaxing, releasing shoulder release exercise that I think you're really going to love. So if these next ones are too intense, just hang on, and in a few minutes I'll show you the relaxing one to finish the sequence with. Okay, so we're going to look at a way to strengthen the shoulders. So I'm going to need my belt. Okay. It's here. Okay, so I'll need a belt. You can do it without a belt, but I recommend a belt in the beginning. And it's nice to have a block also, and a wall. So we're going to do, we're going to tie the belt so that your arms stay shoulder width apart. So they're not here, the arms are here, okay? So usually it's a good idea to measure shoulder to shoulder. The narrower this is, the harder the work is going to be on the shoulders. And you don't want it too wide. So we'll start off like this, all right? So I'm going to go and face away from the wall here. And I'm going to place my block on my mat and my fingers like this. Okay. If your shoulders are very wide, you may want to add a little bit more distance, but usually a block is enough. And I'm going to start out by coming up on downward dog with my forearms on the mat. Give myself a little more room here. So I'll do maybe 10 of these. And making sure that I'm putting weight on the knuckles. So I'm not lifting the knuckles of my fingers. I'm putting weight on the index finger knuckle and on my thumb. So here, come up. And nice and easy breathing through the nose. Okay. Okay. once you've done a few of these, you're going to come closer to the wall and you're going to walk up the wall. Okay, so feet on the wall. Here, and we're gonna just walk up the wall, maybe here, maybe all the way back. So just walking up the wall. Hold for a few seconds and come back down. And then come a little bit closer and walk up the wall. Okay, and develop that strength here. And walk it. Okay, so start out with 1 or 2, work yourself up to doing about 10 of these a day. If you have a nice hallway, then you can have support on both sides so you don't feel like you're falling back or falling forward. It's a great way to practice too. If you don't have a hallway with 2 walls, I recommend walking up the wall just to build strength. And then when you're ready, you can kick up. Sometimes before you develop the strength, just kicking up can be a little bit dangerous because you can land on your feet really hard or on your knees, so just be careful. Okay. You can stand like that. Okay. All right, so then that will build strength in the neck. Shoulders will help prepare you for headstand and all those kind of things. All right. One more intense one. We put the chair near the wall here. Okay, and I always like to add a blanket for your knees. So bring a blanket here for the knees. Bring a chair. And to keep this chair from moving, I usually put a sandbag on the chair. So I'll put a block and the sandbag. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, so here you can do this in a few different ways. You can keep the legs back, or you can keep your legs in Virasana. The legs in Virasana will give you a much more intense stretch, and it's a really wonderful way to practice. But please make sure that you never feel any pain in your knees. The minute your knees start complaining, go back, stretch your hamstrings, practice that first. So 0 pain in the knee for this one. So step 1 is you come here, and my feet are in this position, right? So without collapsing too much here and leaving the contact with the wall. So keeping the hips in contact with the wall, just come back. Okay, and come back up. So we can practice this to start with. And then same thing with the arms. And come back up. And then the next step is to bring the feet into Virasana. And of course, here, sometimes it's nice to put a little padding here. And then you really do get a really nice stretch on your quads and a really nice work on the shoulders too. So come back down. So to prevent strain here on the lower back, keep the hips tucked. So keep the bottom part of the hips to the wall and back. Top of the hips here can come back. So you're tucking the pelvis. You're not creating an arch, but you're tucking the pelvis as you come back. And then you can look up. Okay, and this is a really nice and intense way to work on the shoulders and on back bends and opening, the length of the quads. So if you want to give this one a try, sometimes it takes a good 6 months to get to a place where you're not struggling too much, and then it's just daily work. If you have questions on things to do before getting to this place, let me know, and I can give you some suggestions of things that can help. Or, of course, ask a teacher in person. Okay, so to close off the class, we'll just look at a really nice way to stretch the shoulders and to release. It's a very restorative, amazing way to practice working on the shoulders. So let's do that now. All right, so this is always one of my favorite things to do for my shoulders. And I'll do it in a few different angles so that you can see. And you may need, if you want to use weights, you will need blocks, maybe. So I will leave this here as an option. So I'll give you all of the options that you have. So to start out, find a place where you can lay down. And I'll first give you this angle so you can see what's going on. And again, we're going to use our belts. Super important in this pose, otherwise the arms kind of run away from you. And I'm going to put them shoulder, actually it's waist width plus the width of your arms. I'm going to give myself a little more, and the tighter it is, the obviously more difficult it's going to be. So here's my belt, so my waist, a little bit more than the waist. So come back and place your arms in that loop, like this. Okay, so arms in the loop, like that. All right. Very carefully lay down here. Good. See if you can see. Yes. Okay, great. So bring the arms, you can leave the knees bent. Bring the palms so that they face each other. And what you want to do here is we're going to slowly bring the hands to the floor. Okay, so the reason that I have the block is in case your hands don't reach the floor, then you use a block. So if you're able to bring the hands so that the palms are facing each other, you inhale, you exhale, and you start slowly, without any tension adding up in your eyes, ears, or throat, the hands start coming down towards the floor. If the hands are touching the floor, then you may ask somebody or go ahead and put a little bit of weight. And this is your resting position. This is where, if you're not cutting the circulation in your elbows, you can adjust the belt and release it a little bit. The elbows should be touching the sides of your body, but the belt should not be cutting your circulation. Okay, here, the angle of your hands should be 90 degrees. So you shouldn't be 45 or out here. It should be right at 90 degrees and 90 degrees as you come out. All right. So I hope you're able to see that. So the hands, the whole time, they're 90 degrees on the ground. So I'm not holding my hands like this or out, but this much angle, but you're laying on the ground. All right. Now I'll show you what to do if the hands are tight, if there's an injury. Go ahead and use a block to support your hand wherever it may be. Okay, and then let's see if you can see this. Okay, and then you can add your weight and have somebody place that weight for you. I am grabbing my weight, but that is because my hands go all the way to the floor, and I've done this, I've built that strength up, and so I'm not going to strain my muscles. So please be very careful when placing the weights. but this would be your resting position. And again here, making sure the skin of the back goes down, water falls down towards the sacrum, and you're lifting the chest like that conveyor belt. Breathing through your nose, release any tension in the eyes, the ears, and the throat. Release any tension in the belly. And start releasing tensions on the head of the shoulder. Any tension in the root of the tongue and in your neck. Releasing any tension as you exhale on the very top part of your spine, on that occipital area behind the head. Releasing any tension in the bottom of your feet. All right, and then go ahead and release the weight. You may stay longer if you wish. And slowly roll to the side, to the right, and then release the belt. So I hope you were able to do these exercises and get a little bit of relief in your shoulders, mobility in the shoulders, and develop strength over time. If you continue this sequence for a few months, I think that you would see really great improvements, really great release. You can always finish with a downward dog or start with a downward dog. Leave me some comments below. Tell me what your favorite part of this sequence was, or if you're experiencing any changes in your shoulders. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. All right. Thank you.